What if you could live forever? It began, as many revolutions do, with an accident. A biotech researcher named Dr. Kira Elson was developing a gene therapy to reverse cellular degradation in stroke patients. One evening, running an unscheduled trial on lab mice, she noticed something unusual after weeks of treatment. Not only did the test subjects recover, but they stopped aging altogether. Their telomeres regenerated, their organs stayed pristine, their minds remained sharp. She repeated the experiment, then again, then on primates. It worked every time. It didn't take long for her discovery to escape the lab. By the time governments heard the rumors, it was too late. A rogue clinic in Singapore offered continuity treatments to the wealthy. Billionaires lined up. Secret contracts were signed. Within 5 years, every major pharmaceutical conglomerate had cloned and commercialized the process. They didn't call it immortality. That word carried too much myth, too much madness. They called it stasis, a biological state where cellular death was halted. You didn't grow younger, you simply stopped growing older. At first, the treatments were staggeringly expensive. Only the elite could afford them. The first generation of forever humans became known as the stillborn, not in malice, but in awe. They remained as they were, eternally 35, eternally strong, eternally unchanging. But time moves quickly. Within 2 decades, patents expired, generics spread, nations with universal healthcare debated offering stasis to all citizens. Some resisted, fearing overpopulation, social stagnation, moral collapse. Others embraced it as a basic right. In time, immortality was no longer exclusive. That's when the world began to fracture. Work changed first, lifelong careers lost meaning, promotions slowed, with no end in sight. People stopped retiring, the economy bloated with experience, but starved for opportunity. The young rioted for space in a world that never made room. Love changed too. Marriages that lasted forever became unbearable. Divorce rates skyrocketed. People developed term bonds, 5, 10, 50-year contracts of love. Parenting changed. Children became rare, almost sacred. Who needed offspring when you would never die? Religion splintered. Some said the soul was trapped if the body never died. Others believed eternal life was proof of divine favor. New movements rose, not of gods, but of cycles, groups that believed in voluntary aging and death, arguing that only through decay could the spirit evolve. The Church of the Final Day became infamous for helping believers reintroduce aging, sometimes fatally. Governments struggled. Democracies floundered as eternal leaders clung to power. Revolutions became wars of attrition. How do you outlast the immortal? Some nations mandated term limits for life itself, compulsory aging after a century. Others let people choose. And the planet, already strained, groaned beneath the weight of billions who would never leave. Resources dwindled. Cities expanded into oceans. The moon was colonized. Mars became a refuge. Still, Earth filled. The oldest among the immortal began to grow silent, not from age, but from weariness. Memory piled upon memory, until life became heavy. One day, after nearly 300 years, Dr. Elson reappeared. She had gone into hiding long ago, watching quietly as her discovery reshaped humanity. She emerged not to lecture, but to confess. Stasis was never meant to be permanent. It had limits, and those limits were coming. The process required subtle genetic maintenance every few decades. Most clinics had ignored that. Corruption had begun at the molecular level. Breakdown was inevitable. People panicked, but she smiled. This, she said, is the gift. Mortality is not a curse, it's the compass. A quiet movement began. People who had lived for centuries began to age again, some quickly, some gradually. They called themselves the returners. They walked into time with peace in their hearts. They let their bodies wrinkle, their memories fade, and one by one, they passed. Not all followed. Some clung to the infinite. Others explored even further, uploading minds, seeking new vessels. But the world balanced once more. Birth returned, death returned, and with it, meaning. The story of immortality didn't end in chaos or paradise. It ended in choice. And in that choice, humanity rediscovered what it meant to live.